Hello and welcome to Morris Park. I'm Clyde Morris, and today we've got kind of a wicked planting here. This plant is probably about 38 years old. It started as a seedling in my greenhouse. This is a Euphorbia zigzag. It is a hybrid between grandicornis and pseudocactus. It started as a seedling in my greenhouse from a branch cutting I used to have many years ago. I don't have the branch cutting anymore. The branch cuttings don't grow normally anyway as they should, like this plant here. They just kind of grow taller and taller and branch off here and there, kind of irregular, and don't form this nice plant. Now, my problem with this plant here today is I'm pretty sure it's kind of glued into the pot. I've kind of tested it here and there. It's really cemented in. That's the only bad thing about terracotta pots, is the fact that the plants glue themselves to it because it's like a natural soil. And basically it's made of a natural material. Things like rock and clay and stuff like that, plants will naturally adhere to in nature, especially in dry environments. So I've kind of tried to test this out. It is really hard in here. I'm not going to try to pop this out of the pot like I normally would. So I believe we're going to have to use a master key. To me, breaking a pot, that's terracotta, and injuring the plant, I'll always go for breaking the pot. Because of the fact that these don't come out very easily, trying to roll them around and fish them out of this pot or pry them out isn't really worth destroying the plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not destroy this thing totally and into little shards. Is I'm just going to pop it on two sides and kind of peel it open. And then the pot won't be wasted. I will use this pot for top dressing. I'll crush it up real fine. It makes a really nice top dressing actually. And I can reuse the materials, kind of like recycling. So here we go. Now the pot I've chosen is this pot here. It's a really nice big pot. This was given to me the other day by some people that were moving. I seem to run into these pots quite often like that. They want to reduce weight and they're moving because it costs so much. And so they were going to throw it away. It's got really nice big drain holes in it. I really like that about it. It's got a nice earthy color, just my kind of pot. I've got 3 pieces of screen here, old screen, that I'm going to use in the bottom here to cover these great big holes. I'm just going to set those down here right now, and then I'm going to get down to business here of getting the Euphorbia out of the pot. And you can see this is quite a wicked Euphorbia. It's got lots and lots and lots of thorns all over it, covering in every direction. So there may be a little bit of poking here and there. I think what I'm going to do first is put some soil in the bottom of this pot and get it ready so I can just kind of transfer it over easily. I've got a really good well-drained cactus mix here. It's basically made of a non-peat soil. It's made of perlite and sand. Very gritty and well-drained. Try to get a good amount of it in here. I'll wait, kind of lift this plant up. This plant is in a bit of a lower pot than the one I'm going to use. That might be good for right now. And yes, I'm going to do this without gloves because I seem not have the dexterity and stuff that I have with my bare hands using gloves. I just don't have the touch and the dexterity. Yeah, I'll probably get poked here and there and stuck by these thorns a little bit, but I'm kind of used to that. So here we go. We're going to open this pot with the master key. I'll just give it a good wrap on 2 sides here and pop this thing right open. I've already got one side. There we go. And we'll set these shards aside here because, as I say, I will use them later. as a top dressing because I don't like wasting things. I'm going to try to keep this from breaking into too many small pieces if possible. I might have to pop this side a little bit. And peel these large shards off. I find this is usually about the best way when you have a plant that's really stuck into a pot. And this plant has really needed repotting. The roots are, I mean, just right there. And this should peel out real easy now without me getting hurt too badly by this plant. I may have raised this plant, but it isn't going to have any qualms about defending itself against any invasion, including from myself. Got a few lava rocks here and there I'm going to pick out of here. Okay. As you can see, it's very heavy. As you can see, these roots are really, really wound. But they're very healthy, I will say that. It's a very healthy plant, but it needs new soil. And that's probably why it hasn't grown much this year. So, I'm going to take this and move it out of the way. I'm just going to kind of pick this soil a little bit with the hammer, kind of loosen it up. Not real hard now. I'm just going to kind of bump it. See if I can get some of these roots loosened up. Because they're really wound in there and I want them to kind of be able to get a new direction in the new pot. That'll knock some of it out of there, it looks like, better. I waited till this was very dry before I started doing this, because I figured the soil would be a bit easier to remove, of course. This is a big thorny one. These big thorny ones are often pretty difficult just because of how they're armed. But that's kind of why I like them. I like the big old thorny plants. Knock that off a little bit more. I'm not sitting there just beating the plant to death. I'm just kind of loosening up the soil. I don't want to injure the roots too much. I see a tiny little bit of bleeding in the roots right now. That's almost inevitable. And yes, on these euphorbias, all parts of the plant will bleed. So, once I'm done with this, since I'm beating this with my hands and coming into contact with it, I will be washing my hands thoroughly when I'm done, because this could cause problems if I don't. And I've stressed this on other videos with euphorbias, is the fact that they are toxic, they are poisonous, and they defend themselves. And that's why they have this poison. They will defend themselves. Not only with the thorns, but with these with this bleeding of the sap. As a matter of fact, I've got one root over here going pretty good. I want to try to avoid a lot of that, but sometimes you just can't. I'm not going to be able to unwind all of these totally. I don't intend to. And I don't want to do a root prune either. Just going to loosen this up, get a lot of this dirt out of here. Not all of it, but just a good amount so it has a better start when I put it in the pot. And I'll kind of stage it up a little bit. You know me, if you've watched some of my videos, I will be staging this up a bit. I think I've almost got it to where I want it. Get some of these bottom ones loosened up a little bit. They're still pretty wound. This is one wicked unit, I will say that. How did Steve Irwin used to say it? Danger, danger, danger. All around. Kind of miss Steve Irwin, as I'm a reptile fan also. He's a great guy to watch and listen to. Very intelligent about the animals. Okay, I think I've got this to where I want it now. I've got the roots all loosened up pretty well around the sides. There's not a lot of soil left in them. I'm not going to try to just rip them all out and all apart. I've loosened them up pretty good, I think. As you can see here, got them loosened up. There's a few that are bleeding and a few that have torn. But can't really avoid that. It's just, like I say, inevitable with these euphorbias. You're going to run into that sap. Okay. Pardon me. I've had a little cold the last couple days, so kind of fighting that off. Need a little more soil. Excuse me. Okay. I think I'm ready to set it into the pot. Let's see which side I want here. I think this will be my front. And of course the front of the plant will be right here. And I believe I'm going to have to lift this up a little bit because the branches are coming in contact with the top of the pot. So I'm going to have to raise it up just a little bit. I don't want those branches really resting so much on the rim of the pot. So I'm going to raise it up quite a bit. Okay, let's see where we are now. Oh yeah, it's trying to get me. Gotta watch them. Now the trick is just getting these roots back. I don't want to cut really too many of them off. Okay, there. If I can get this thing kind of centered in here. Most of you are probably going, oh my goodness, he's got his arms right in the middle of that. Yeah, I'm kind of used to it. I've been stuck by these things so many times and pretty well got pretty tough skin anyway. Okay, now all I got to do is start filling my soil in to make sure I get all my roots inside here, as they were kind of long. I got all the branches above the rim of the pot, and I can start filling in now. And you want to make sure, and I'll probably get a little stick or something like that, that all the soil settles in. Another good way to do it is just wrap the sides of the pot real good. So all this soil goes right in there and fills in around the roots. I'll do a little with my fingers too, but as I say, if you're going to use your hands, remember these guys are toxic. I'm going to have to lift this up on this one side. It's starting to lean a bit. And as you see, I am using my bare hands. Yeah, I think that'd be about the best way to do it. I'm just going to lean it over and it'll kind of lean the direction I want it. Yes, sir. That is wicked. And as I say, our plants don't care that we care for them or anything. They will still fight you back when you go to repot them. Kind of like one of our old dogs that we have, very old, and we want to groom her or something. She kind of fights us back, tries to nip at us and stuff, because she's just old and doesn't like it. These plants, they'll defend themselves the same way. They will bite too. Okay, lean that back a little bit. Make sure it didn't fall over. The only other thing with this plant is I may have to kind of pitch it here and there to the side and so forth to make sure it gets to stand up right. It's kind of grown over to one side because I've had it facing in a southerly direction during the growing season. And we used to keep it in the dog yard, but we can't keep it in the dog yard anymore because our dog Oakley that we just got this year, adopted so to speak, because it was dumped off on us, he doesn't have any sense of what to destroy and what to leave alone. We give him lots of chew toys and stuff, but they just doesn't do too well with anything. He just likes to chew up everything, and I have a feeling it'd be a real big vet bill if I left anything inside the dog yard. So all the cactus and succulents are out of the dog yard this year. Diesel was okay with it, our lab, and did well with it. And he used to be a destroyer also. But this dog doesn't seem to really know what's what, and he just goes ahead and gets everything. I have a feeling he'd get right in the middle of these thorns and it'd be a mess. Thorns and toxin probably isn't good. Okay, getting this filled in real nice here. Keep turning it. Try to fill in. This uses quite a bit of soil. And it's already got me a little bit, if you can see that. It's getting me a little bit of bite there. Okay, it's getting there. Awesome. Yes, very tedious little job here. Try not to get hurt. But if you ever have a large, very spiky euphorbia or cactus that you just don't think you're going to get out of the terracotta pot, the master key is always the way to go. I find that pot's a lot cheaper than the plant is, and it really just makes things a lot easier. So I've been poked a little bit here by this plant, but it would have been worse me trying to get it out of that pot, because I think both me and the plant would have suffered quite a bit. Really nice morning out today. Great for a repot. Great for getting out and doing things outside. Been waiting for this all winter. I think I've just about got the soil where I want it. Lift this side up a little bit, try to get some soil in there. That's the thing about this plant, is very tight. Trying to get your hands all in there and get that soil settled. But it's coming out pretty good. It's actually going a little easier than I thought it would, but the master key helps to unlock things. Okay, I think I've got the soil and everything where I want it, plant where I want it. There we go. Gonna have to kind of blow off some of the dirt, and you got to be careful. Don't get your eyes in the middle of this. Danger. Very dangerous. Okay, I've got my soil in. Now it's just a matter of placing my rock, staging it up a little bit. I've got a whole thing of lava rock over here just ready and waiting. I'll get up here a second, take a tiny break, and we'll come right back. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to put in the lava rock. I've got some lava rock here crushed up, ready to go. I didn't make it too small this time because it's a larger plant. This is going to look great. I really like these stoneware pots because the earthy colors that they give them most times. I go for earthy colors on pots. Something that's more of a blend that just pokes out. Brighter pots are nice for certain things. Funky pots are nice for certain things. I use some of them also. But still, my favorites are these nice stoneware earthy pots. The only drawback of these is one, yes, if they're not glazed on the inside, and this one is not, of course, they can stick later. But this will last several years in this, and I'll get my use out of it. As I say, the pot was free, so that's what makes it nice too. You can see I'm just using my fingers and stuff to do this. As far as pulling branches back and so forth. Then I'll just kind of shuffle that rock in here and there where I need it. Got a little bit of spillage going on here. Sometimes you just toss them back in there, that works too. Or if you can find those little holes, you can just kind of feed it in. Still got a little bit of soil stuck in there between the branches. Oh, let's see. I'll use this little sharp deal here, just kind of pick it out. It's working pretty good. Okay. Some of the rocks kind of go up here on the branches too. They'll have to be kind of fished out. There you go. Good. Okay. And say underneath some of these places, it's probably better just to shuffle them under there with this little trowel. Get them up under there. Turning out real nice. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And then maybe we'll stage it up with some rocks, some big holy rocks. I got a spot right there I need to fill. There we go. Looking good, looking good. That's settled in there. Tapping on the sides of the pots helps settle that soil in real well, and it also helps settle the rock in too. You get it where you want it. Fish some of those rocks out. So they kind of land on top of the branches, and it's hard to get out because all the thorns. A lot of thorns. Now I won't be watering this for about 2 weeks. Let it settle into its new digs. Lift this up a little, get some rock under that. Like I say, you see I'm doing this mainly with my hands. If I had gloves on, a lot of times what happens with the gloves is that your gloves get caught in these thorns and stuff too. So it makes things a little more difficult for me anyway. So I've always used my hands. Let's see if I can get under here. There we go. Cover up some of those little soil areas I can see inside. Make it look nicer. I won't be able to fit too many stage rocks in here, but I'm going to try a couple out here. That one's a bit too big. So I won't do too many in here. It's not quite the room. Let's see here. All right, I think we got it done here. And I will clean this up and then give you a good view of it in just a second. Kind of a preview view of it right here. That's looking really nice. The only drawback of these, they are heavy. Stoneware pots, of course, are very heavy on their own. And once you put a plant into them and some of the rock and so forth, then it makes it a bit heavier. Anyhow, I'm going to clean this up and I'm going to show you the finished product from a level view. Let's check this out. Okay.